How do we experience music? Why are we able to create music? Is our degree of musical ability determined by our genetics? Or is it developed in our childhood experiences? I set out to try and answer some of these questions. And what better way to do so than by going back to my roots?
Hi, my name's Marissa Banworth, and
This is my
I spent
mom.
the last, oh my gosh, I guess 15, 16 years as an elementary music teacher and choir director, and I am a lifelong musician.
I asked her to what degree she believes that musical ability is genetic.
Definitely think there's a bit of both. I think, well, everyone is born to make music. Um, Even people who are hard of hearing are born to make music. It's hardwired into our brains. But I do know that nurturing that spark in any child, in any person, is powerful.
In regards to the nature versus nurture debate, my mom leans most heavily towards nurture for the development of musicality. Next, of course, I went to my dad.
Hi, Dad.
Hey, Sugar, how are you doing?
I'm good.
I asked him the same question.
Well, I think it's up there, like 80% genetic. I guess it depends on what level you want to perform at. If you're talking professional level, then I think you really have to be gifted genetically, like having a good ear and a good voice. Or if you're not a voice, you need at least the coordination to be able to play the instrument.
Although my dad's prediction that 80% of musicality is determined by genetics might be a bit far reaching, research from Oikonen and colleagues has identified loci containing genes related to inner ear development in association to musical aptitude. Families consisting of 2 to 51 individuals spanning over 4 generations and ranging from 7 to 94 years of age composed a total of 915 participants in the study. DNA collection and musical aptitude tests revealed a significant correlation between multiple genes and musical aptitude. For example, GATA2 is a gene of which develops organs such as the inferior colliculus, where different pitches are mapped to different cells. And PCDH15 is a known deafness gene, of which influences hair cell sensory transduction. Further research is paramount, but these findings indicate that nature could likely be playing an influential role in musicality. After asking both of my parents, I had to ask my sister, Liv, about her take on the role of genetics in musicality.
Ooh, that's so interesting to think about. I think the natural talent that can come with music, like being able to pick up chords quickly, or like the tactile talent that comes with being able to like play an instrument, that can be passed across genetically. But like I think the appreciation and like the love for music that can be tied with the talent to like form it into an overall like hobby, love, craft, etc. I think that is more of like a learned thing, like something that you learn to appreciate via upbringing or just via your own experiences. So yes and no, a little.
Liv saw musicality as being a nice balance of nature and nurture. But how exactly do we nurture musicality? My parents met as music majors in the Longhorn Band while attending the University of Texas at Austin. Growing up, I played the clarinet in band and sang in choir. Liv played piano, the cello, and does musical theater. We both have a passion for making music that was nourished by our parents and stays with us today.
I'm beautiful in my way, 'cause God makes no mistakes. I'm on the right track, baby, I was born this way. Don't hurt yourself and regret, just hurt yourself in your side. I'm on the right track, baby, I was born this way. Ooh, there ain't no other way, baby, I was born, I'm on the right track, baby, I was born this way. What's it like in New York City? I'm 1,000 miles away, girl. Tonight you look so pretty, yes you do. Times Square can't shine as bright as you. I swear it's true.
I asked my mom how her passion for music was nourished and how she nourished that within her own children.
My mother, when I was a child, sang to me. My sister and I, both of us, became musical. Our early childhood experiences, I think, contributed to that aspect of our personalities. With you all, oh my gosh, you were born into a musically enriched environment. You heard music in utero. I mean, I was a band director when I was pregnant with your brother. Olivia used to sit, when she was tiny, she was still in her little carrier. She sat on the floor in the front room while I gave clarinet lessons. And in all three of you, I think you all three had a natural aptitude, but I think those early musical experiences have been, I have so many wonderful memories of just making music with you all, dancing around the house, singing, speaking, where we literally have full-on conversations, singing back and forth to each other. I'm sure that it had a huge role in your development as musicians and just musical people in general.
Turns out that my mom was pretty spot on. Treehub and Goodman's Daughters' report on mothers as singing mentors for infants indicates that after infants hear several repetitions of a brief melody, they are able to notice a small pitch change in a single note of the melody, even when the melody was presented in a different key. Infants also showed this ability in identifying rhythm, suggesting that we are born with inherent preferences for temporal regularity. My mom had said that even those who are hard of hearing are born to make music. Well, infants of deaf signing parents receive rhythmic dance-like gestures in replacement of singing. Mothers sing to soothe and amuse their infants, and later for encouraging collaborative and independent singing and music making. Subsequent mentorship for music making by music educators should prioritize relationship building and maintenance over skill building for the best chance of success. My dad's first band director seemed to nourish his passion for music by doing just that.
So I'm like, okay, finish home. And then I had instant success. I mean, from the get-go, I played really well. I remember the first chair test we had, the band director looked at me and said, "You practiced a lot, didn't you?" And I did. I had. And he was like, "Wow, that's amazing, first chair." And boy, that just lit a fire under me. It's like, hey, this is where I can get recognized, and show talent and be talented. And I think that band director had everything to do with instilling me with a love for music and just having that success to go with it.
To carry on the discussion of how we nurture musicality, I got Liv's opinion on how she thinks our parents influenced her musicality.
Like from very, very early childhood, I had experience, I had knowledge of literally my mother teaching music while I was there, and then grew up with her being a music teacher. And so it's like so much of that passive comprehension of knowledge based from nurture. I think a lot of it has to do with the way I was raised. I will say though, it can't be too much of a coincidence that both our parents are music majors and both of us are musically talented. Like that, there has to be some genetic linkage. Where is up for debate, but like, I don't know. It's really interesting to think about.
Holy night, Son of God, love's pure light, radiant beams from thy holy face. Jesus, Lord, at thy birth. Jesus, Lord, at thy birth. Yeah.
We were always singing in our household.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Even if it was like ironic, kind of like.
Sing speaking, where we literally have full-on conversations, singing back and forth to each other.
If mom's like, I forgot the biscuits in the car, we'd be like, yeah, you did, and like just start going off about the biscuits. Like it was so unprompted, and like we would just sing what we were saying, but then it would actually turn into a song. Like that happened every night.
How do we create and experience music? As it turns out, music is much like language in how it is developed.
First we were just listening in infancy, and then we start to babble and coo and copy and imitate. Mm-hmm. Before long, we say a syllable and parents recognize it as something and they say it back to us, so we copy it some more. But those patterns, are a part of music as well. So
there's a connection between the semantics of music and the semantics of language.
Language and music develop similarly. We start off in imitation, listening, then we start imitating, then we start trying to create on our own. This is long before anybody shows you what music looks like. Music doesn't look like this. This isn't language. Music doesn't really look like this. Music is this. That's just a way of communicating it.
Yeah. We can speak a language to each other,
right?
But writing it down and knowing how to write it down is completely different.
It's not the language itself.
No.
It's just one form of communicating that.
Mm-hmm.
We communicate through speech, so human beings just determined that it might be a good idea to kind of have a way to record what people say. This is a basic old-fashioned recording device, and a way for someone else to make music. I think one of the things that we forget is that music is not meant to be something you listen to. Human-wise, it's meant to be something you make, something you do, and usually something that is done within a community.
Once again, my mom was pretty spot on. Lee and colleagues examined the association between rhythm and syntax processing in school-aged children. The children were given grammar then rhythm tests, and results showed that performance of rhythm discrimination predicted the comprehension of syntactically complex sentences. This association supports the notion that there are shared neural processes within certain aspects of music and language processing. We experience music in a multitude of ways. We are able to create music in similar ways that we create language. Our musical ability is likely determined in part by our genetics. But most importantly, musicality is a universal human experience that can be nurtured as it nurtures us.
It wasn't that low.
Sleigh bells ring, are you listening? In a lane, snow is glistening. A beautiful sight, we're happy tonight. Walking in a winter wonderland. Gone away is the bluebird. Here to stay is the new bird. He sings a love song as we go along, walking in a winter wonderland. In the meadow we can build a snowman and pretend that he's Parson Brown. He'll say, "Are you married?" We'll say, "No, man, but you can do the job when you're in town." Later on we'll conspire as we dream by the fire to face unafraid the plans that we made, walking in a winter wonderland. We found it.
We got it.
Took some dancing
It took
around,
some- it
but
took
we
some-
found